Just a quick 5 today is all you get. So let's just get straight into this Q&A. I wanted to answer this one first. This is a pretty common question, and it is something I am very well versed in. Is it possible to do/maintain cardio while also specializing in strength? Absolutely. The notion that cardio kills gains is old and tired and played out. If excessive cardio will kill your strength progress, training for marathons and things like that, when you're some specialty cardio sport or some sort of application like that, then it starts, there's some give and take, like what's more important to you, cardio or strength at that point. Just doing fucking basic cardio is going to enhance your strength gains and muscle building capabilities. You're going to be able to recover better. There's speculation that you're going to absorb nutrients better, the blood flow, etc. You can get into really niche things, but it's going to help with your recovery abilities, your ability to recover. Like in between says, I'm not just talking about recovery from session to session. I'm talking about from like set to set, within the same session. If you have better cardiovascular abilities, you're going to be able to recover better. This can be as much as a minimum dose of, 2 to 5 times a week of zone 2 cardio, getting your heart rate. It's going to vary, so there's some formulas based on age and weight, saying where your sweet spot should be. But, getting your heart rate up there above, 130, 140, 150, depending upon who you are, for 15 to 45 minutes, 2 to 5 times a week, will do wonders for somebody who is specifically focused on, strength or muscle building. And then maintaining cardio is super easy. Like minimum effective dose. I will say that one more time. Minimum effective dose. This is one place where I think that phrase is very applicable. If you're just trying to maintain something, and you've already have, that cardiovascular ability established, 1 to 2 good sessions a week, and probably just one, and you will maintain that cardio with that one good session, and maybe like a couple more very easy sessions sprinkled in. For the average strength athlete, hypertrophy enthusiast, fartleks on the treadmill or at a park or whatever can be great. And that's just kind of play running. Like you'll go hard for a little bit, then back it down a little bit, and you can keep your heart rate up that way pretty easily. Super easy, and absolutely, like, everybody should be doing some form of cardio. When you're peaking for a powerlifting meet or something like that, you may want to pull back the cardio to next to nothing for a couple weeks, and then get right back on it. But yes, you can, do cardio. Please do cardio. What do I think about novelty deadlifts like the 18-inch or the silver dollar? I think if you're a strong man and you are competing in those categories, then fucking absolutely train for them. I think tracking them, having records for them, setting goal PR weights with them is very applicable there. If you just like doing them for fun, also, hey, fucking great, fantastic. Go for it. Just don't be like, oh, I've got an 800-pound deadlift, and then neglect to mention that it was, silver dollar or 18-inch deadlift or something like that. If you got to restart your training from the very beginning, what would you do? I would definitely have a more balanced and sensible approach. I definitely learned some lessons the hard way, and I would like to not do those. And I was very imbalanced, and I've still got some imbalances there. Because I was so specialized in balance because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But just a more balanced and sensible approach. And I would have sought out knowledge a lot sooner. I did start lifting before social media, so I didn't know there was all these avenues. I didn't even, where to look. Back then it was much more localized, and locally people just said, how much do you bench? So I just wanted to have the biggest number when somebody asked that. Can I bench one plate forever and still make gains? So I know this was a troll question, but actually, yes. There's so many ways to progress. Again, I would not recommend this, of course, and it's certainly not going to be optimal, but there's all these ways of working your reps higher and higher and higher, taking your rest periods lower and lower and lower, adding sets, using tempos, using various pauses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can do so much if you only had one plate and a barbell. Like, yes, you could make gains forever. They're not going to be as good as the gains could be if you had more than that to use. But, even though this is a funny haha troll question, you could absolutely find ways to milk out gains forever with a one plate bench. What are your best time saving or convenience tips for meal prep? Honestly, like just set aside an hour or two, man. Like, it's not that big a deal. Batch cooking, Faz Lifts has a great video on batch cooking, and that's probably like the best way if time is a thing for you. It is going to require a little bit more time up front, but you're going to save lots of time down the road doing batch cooking. So that's what I would go to. And just, buying large industrial sized pots and pans. And air fryers are pretty great. And crock pots. Air fryers and crock pots. Large pans, large pots, air fryers, crock pots, batch cooking. What do you think about rotator cuff strengthening exercises to bulletproof? Okay, so I don't like the term bulletproofing any part of your body because that gives a false sense of something bulletproofing it. Even like bulletproof vests they're bullet resistant vests. They're not technically bulletproof. They're not called that. And so that's how you should look at these like exercises, as making your body more resistant to injuries. And I think there's some efficacy there. I don't think these are the be all end all. And honestly, I will forever preach load management. That is going to be the biggest key in staying injury free is load management. Technique matters to an extent. Some of these smaller exercises can matter and play a part to an extent, but at the end of the day, if you're fucking just going balls to the wall all the time, you can do all the bulletproofing exercises you want and you're still going to get hurt. Again, doesn't mean these are bad. It's always good to be stronger in various areas around these things. So I would say they're a net positive for strength building in general, and for injury prevention. But at the end of the day, load management is going to win every time. What do you consider to be a good weight difference between an RDL and a deadlift? 3 to 5 rep maxes on both. Ratios are fucking stupid. I've always maintained that ratios are fucking dumb. It doesn't fucking matter. In the context of powerlifting, your number on the platform matters, and that's about fucking it. It doesn't matter the ratio from your deadlift to your RDL. If you're training RDL sufficiently and they are making that deadlift number go up, it does not fucking matter what the ratio is of this to that. Generally speaking, you're going to RDL a little bit less than you deadlift. But the ratio, it's irrelevant in my opinion. No, I'm not really into movies. My favorite movie ever is Love and Basketball. And I like those coming of age movies from that era. That's when I grew up. Like Boys in the Hood, Menace Society, Love and Basketball, The Wood, Can't Hardly Wait. Those are some of my favorites. I don't really watch new movies a lot. I'm not a big movie buff. I can't remember the last time I've been in a theater to see a movie. So, yeah, I've not seen any new movies I'm trying to think of like what the most recent movie I've seen. And I'm drawing a blank. I don't know, maybe one of the Avengers movies or something. And they were all right. I watched them with my son. But like there wasn't anything special to me. I've lifted for a year and a few months, and I'm at 340 pounds bench press for a 1 rep max. I want to get to 405 within another year or so I can break the state record in my weight class. Do you have any tips on getting that much stronger, but also avoiding injury? So without any context here, and without seeing, do you actually perform? It's possible. It's certainly possible, and you can certainly get there. Again, load management. Like I said earlier, you're going to want to push, but don't push too hard. I would make sure that your nutrition supports your goals, and that you're sleeping well, and that you're moving well, and that you're training hard and smart. And I know that's a very generic response, but that's what it is. That's what it comes down to: training hard, training smart, controlling all the variables you can control. And so, when you're going throughout your day, ask yourself, when you're faced with decisions, is what I'm doing now, is this decision going to help me in regards to attaining this goal? And the more yeses you can rack up, the more attainable that goal is going to be. I'm doing a cut and I lost 16 and a half pounds in 6 weeks. What rate of weight loss is considered still healthy? I'm losing my strength on OHP and bench press, but except for those, everything is going up, or at least stays the same. How long did it take for you to drop the extra weight? So with weight loss, the initial weight loss always is going to be a bigger number, because up front you're going to lose a lot of water weight when you change dieting, and your carb intake is going to go down some, your sodium intake is going to go down, and your fat cells, and then some of your muscle is going to release some water out. So 16 and a half pounds in 6 weeks is, not a shock. It's just a little over 2 pounds a week. And that's the initial loss. You can, depending upon how big you are, obviously is going to make a big difference. Like if you're 400 or 500 pounds, you can rapidly lose weight, and it's not going to be unhealthy at all. The smaller you are, the more of a percentage of your weight it is, and it's going to make a bigger difference. I lost right around 100 pounds in about a year, and I was a little over 300 pounds when I started. So, what's that? That's like 2 pounds a week, give or take, right around there. And it was a lot quicker up front. And me personally, I'm somebody who goes hard in the paint. And I like to get shit done and out of the way. So I did cut aggressively. And that's just how I like to do things. And like I said, if you are fat and obese and you've got a lot of weight to lose, I wouldn't worry too much about losing weight too rapidly. If you feel good and your numbers aren't being terribly affected, by all means, keep doing what you're doing. Is it possible that one day us mere viewers get an oiled up booty bounce? It's not impossible, I'll say that. Weed and tobacco while lifting. Are you an adult? Can you make adult decisions? If yes, then fucking go for it. What was the heaviest lift I've seen in person? So I saw Sam Bird squat 920, so 915 or 920, when he broke the world record at 220. Back in like 2015 or something. He squatted that raw with knee wraps. So that was the biggest like raw lift I've seen. The most recent meet I worked the monolift at, there was a lifter, Multiply, who squatted a little over 1,100 pounds. And that's the biggest like absolute lift I've seen in person. How to get stronger maximally while working a physically demanding job and also gaining strength when trying to increase things like vertical or explosive power as well. Sodium intake needs to be up. Carbohydrates probably need to be up. Hydration needs to be up. Protein needs to be up. So like when you're working a physically demanding job, you need to, your nutrition and your rest and recovery becomes even that much more paramount. Your body will adjust, and your baseline of work capacity will adjust with that job. But you've got to be really on point with that. And if you're worried about like if strength and power and explosiveness is your main sort of goals, I would keep your actual workouts relatively short, and a big emphasis on those strength and power goals and explosiveness. I was about to say explosivity. I don't think that's a word. And keep them short and sweet. 30 to 45 minutes. Go in, warm up, hit it hard, and get out. You don't need like the extra fluff and buff stuff. The junk volume is going to be completely unnecessary for you if these are your goals. So, hydration, sodium intake, nutrition, rest and recovery, and then hit it hard and fast. Giggity. Best exercises for traps and rhomboids. I know you don't barbell row. I just posted some barbell rows on my Instagram. Man, like, I've got so much out of deadlifts and presses. I really have. Even like overhead presses are underrated for your traps a little bit, in my opinion. I don't think they're like the be all end all trap exercise, but there's a lot there to be had with them. Weighted pull ups have done me well over the last couple of years. But I've been one to stick to the basics as far as like specialty exercises. Face pulls. I get a good mind muscle connection in my traps with face pulls, so I know those have helped a lot. But as far as rhomboids, it's been mostly presses. There's not been a lot of magic to it for me. Left-right training split, yay or nay? Yay. And please film, record, and document. Will increasing my push press have any carryover to my strict press? Yes, it should. It's not going to necessarily be like a 1-to-1, like my push press went up by X, so my strict press went up by Y. But there's that overload factor there, and it should, as long as you're still practicing your strict press in correlation with emphasizing your push press, there should be some carryover there for sure. Am I cooked for thinking that lifting heavy and doing cardio every day good for me? You can lift heavy and do cardio every day. I would not recommend it. You need to rest and recover at some point. At some point, it's probably going to catch up to you. But if like your lifting heavy was like one RPE 9 single and no other accessory movements or anything, and then you did some light cardio after that, yes, you could do that in perpetuity for life. So it's lacking context. Generally speaking, I would not recommend it. Can you? Yes. Is it good for you? Debatable. Any advice on rehabbing a partial meniscus tear? So I tore my meniscus. I did not get surgery. And it's my left knee has always been bad, even before the meniscus tear. I found, just various rehab exercises on YouTube, as dumb as that sounds. But I did, and, I took about a year off squatting and deadlifting and doing like hard lower body exercises, and in conjunction with those rehab exercises that I found on here. And I'll see if I can find the videos and stuff again, the particular ones that I use. I might have them saved somewhere. But like finding people who have gone through this and are athletically minded and are also doctors, and there's a handful of them out there that are like actually medically qualified to give advice there, is going to be extremely helpful. But definitely don't get down in the dumps. It's certainly something that's, you can come back from. I came back, after my torn meniscus and squatted over 700 pounds in knee wraps and, 639 pounds in sleeves, and the old style sleeves, not even the new sleeves with the good rebound. So yeah, you can definitely come back and rehab it. And I will try to remember and see if I can find those particular rehab exercise videos that I used and link them in here. Peace!